Generation X was told, go to school, get a job, work hard, retire at 65. Simple, then pensions vanished. Healthcare got expensive. Jobs became temporary. And retirement moved like a finish line on a treadmill. So now the question isn't when Gen X will retire. It's, will they retire at all? Gen X grew up between analog childhoods and digital adulthood. They drank from garden hoses and later trained their bosses how to attach PDFs. They were the first latchkey kids, the last generation to know life before the internet, and the first to experience job instability as a norm. No one warned them they'd be the bridge generation, and bridges don't get to rest. Boomers had pensions. Gen X got a pamphlet about their options as they entered the workforce. Defined benefit pensions were disappearing and replaced by self-funded retirement plans. Translation: you're now responsible for figuring this out. Today, Gen X believes they need over $1.1 million to retire comfortably but expect to have far less saved, and nearly 70% feel behind on retirement savings. Not a little behind. Behind like realizing the exit ramp was 10 miles ago. Gen X isn't just saving, they're supporting kids, helping aging parents, paying rising housing costs, and absorbing inflation. Nearly half lack confidence in retiring on their own terms. Because retirement planning is hard when you're paying for 3 generations at once. They're not the middle class. They're the middle shock absorber. Here's where it gets real. About 64% of workers over 50 report experiencing age discrimination. 1 in 5 feel pushed out due to age. Older workers face a strange paradox. Too young to retire. Too old to hire. You've got 30 years of experience, but the job posting wants digital native, high energy, culture fit. Translation: born after the invention of Wi-Fi. Automation replaced routine work. AI is replacing cognitive tasks. Gig work replaced stability. Benefits became optional. Meanwhile, the workforce is aging. Workers 55 are the fastest growing segment and made up 24% of the workforce in 2022. Older adults will account for over half of labor force growth in the coming decade, and more people are working past retirement age. In 2024, 19.5% of Americans 65 were still working. That's not a hobby. That's an economic reality. Let's remove the myth. Retirement is no longer an age. It's a financial condition. And millions are not financially prepared. Even today, many Americans fall far below retirement targets. This isn't about laziness. It is about structural change. Pensions vanished, wages stagnated, healthcare costs exploded, housing prices soared, recessions hit at key earning years. Gen X graduated into the early 90s recession, the dot-com collapse, the 2008 financial crisis, the pandemic economy, if timing matters. Gen the 10th had historic bad luck. But here's what data doesn't measure: resilience. Gen X adapted from typewriters to AI, from paper maps to GPS, from job loyalty to survival mode. They reinvented themselves repeatedly. And reinvention is the new retirement strategy, not stopping work, but redesigning work. Retirement isn't just quitting. It's flexible. Remote work, consulting, or living off investments. Many will work longer, not always by necessity, but by design. And the workplace is slowly evolving toward more age-friendly roles and flexible work structures. The future worker isn't young, it's adaptable. Some will retire comfortably. Many will semi-retire. Others will pivot careers. Some will work longer than expected. But the biggest shift is this: retirement is no longer the end of work. It's the freedom to choose different work. And Gen X may become the first generation to prove that. They weren't handed stability. They built adaptability. They weren't promised certainty. They learned resilience. They aren't the loudest generation, but they might be the toughest. Because they didn't just survive change, they became fluent in it. Unlearning takeaway: retirement isn't dying. The definition is And the generation that grew up without a manual is writing the new one. If this challenged something you believed, hit like. If it made you think, drop a comment. Unlearning works better out loud.